I need to make sure that you guys can see I kind of feel like I a little bit look like I am in a dungeon. Um,
No, it's a
that's
nice
okay.
dungeon though. It has a plant and a lamp.
It's a
It's
nice dungeon, plant and lamp. The plant is one of those plants that always looks dead.
oh
You know what I mean? Do you
yeah,
know what types of plants I'm talking about?
yeah, like the
Um,
librarian at a middle school.
yeah, she's always dead.
Exactly. She's always dead.
Yeah. Right before the podcast, of course, my microphone broke. So I'm holding it um like the cheap piece of shit that it is that I am. And the funniest part about it is like this has been a recurring thing for the podcast that like I've been doing this past 6 months or whatever. Just something always has to fuck up. Today I was literally just like slightly adjusting the tripod and it fully just snapped off of the screw. The screw just snapped in half.
Yeah, and
But
now it'll never work again.
no.
Of course.
Um, but it just shows you how hard we work for the fans. For this new podcast that you guys are probably all wondering why is this guy rambling right now into my computer, or you're not watching this at this point. But welcome to Drinking on the Job podcast.
Howdy,
I
howdy.
am I am intern Watts, also Nick Watts, and I work at Old Row, and so does my friend Grant here, who will introduce himself.
And I am introducing myself as Grant Caravelli, at Grant Caravelli on Twitter. You can find me there. Yeah, I work at Old Row. And for those of you who remember the old Row pod, I was
We were both
intern
on it.
Grant back in the day. Yeah.
We were
So
both on it.
look at that.
So
People grow
you're
up.
not that you're not that much special than I am. It's kind of
No.
interesting how you had to put in that qualifier.
Hey, remember
Um,
that? People know
yeah.
me, kind of. Not really.
Did you celebrate the holidays yesterday?
I did my best. I decided to go ahead and sit down and do a lot of reflecting, just really think about everything as a whole and uh really just sit down and take a knee for those lives that we lost.
Uh you heard what Kamala said, right?
Yeah, yeah, the third worst day in national history
I
is
actually think it's I actually think it's worse than 9/11 and Pearl Harbor though.
I think
Both of
it's
them
worse than them
combined.
put together. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
about to
well,
say.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say because last year democracy died, and you
Yeah,
can't
of
put a
course.
death toll on that. You can't
No,
put a death toll on that.
no. I mean,
So
it's like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. It's but the nation found out that Santa Claus wasn't real.
the nation found out that democracy has been crumbled to the core, and nobody. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. I sound really stupid. I can't get off political. Fuck around on Twitter.
Yeah,
Why is my default microphone now onto my AirPods?
I was about to say I lost you for a second.
Oh, there we go. That's
Jesus fuck.
the microphone. Yay! We're already having issues with it. um, I was gonna say though, it was pretty interesting how it was strictly just Kamala talking about it yesterday. You'd think that Joe Biden would have a little bit more of a say about the incidents
Mhm,
last year.
mhm.
The really funny part, I loved when they brought out the Hamilton cast. That was great. Whenever I can listen to Lin Manuel Miranda rap, it just brings a smile to my face.
The worst part about like Hamilton is that like that is such like that the Alexander Hamilton song is actually like an absolute banger. Everyone sounds incredible on that. And if Lin Manuel Miranda gave his part to anyone else, it'd be the greatest thing ever. But he's like, no, no, no. I wrote this. I get to be Alexander Hamilton and be surrounded by 1,000 people that are 1,000 times better than me. And I'll
Are
just
you a
bring it
slut
down
for
to normal.
Hamilton? You're a
I mean,
slut
I
for
might be.
Hamilton.
I've literally
You're a little theater slut, aren't you, Grant?
No, I'm literally so the only thing I've seen of Hamilton is the first song where they do the rap about Alexander Hamilton. And I only know that because I used to be a slut for Family Guy and saw Stewie do it, and I had to see what Stewie was doing it based off of. And I
Oh, I
think
see. I
Stewie
see.
did a better job than Lin Manuel Miranda.
Did Hamilton exist at that time?
Well,
Like
I
for
Stewie did
Family
it.
Guy?
Family Guy's still going. Family Guy's still going.
Well, when did you watch this Family Guy episode?
2 years ago.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I saw
It was a Tuesday. The sun was out. There were two clouds in the sky. I remember very distinctively two clouds, and I almost got hit by an ice cream truck because I heard an ice cream truck, but it didn't stop for me. So that was
Did you want ice cream?
not until I heard the ice cream truck music, and I wanted ice cream.
I think that would be probably the second worst way to die is getting run over by an ice cream truck. Or I think the first number one way to die, it's not the worst way to die, but like getting run over by an ambulance, like the irony in that would just be horrible. Like if you just get pancakes by an ambulance going like 100 down a busy street, the irony.
I think the irony of a fire truck being lit on fire and exploding is much more ironic than an ambulance running over someone. But, I mean, I think this opens up a line of conversation here. Like, what is the most ironic way to die?
The most ironic way to die. Holy shit! This is a good question.
Like
this is definitely something we should pose. I feel like, oh man, most ironic.
A lion tamer getting mauled by a lion. I mean, that has to be up there, but that's also like a no duh.
Yeah, exactly. I always love when it's always some like 60-year-old batshit crazy woman who just got divorced, and they're like, "No, chimpanzees are actually really cuddly."
Meanwhile, the chimpanzee is just eating a face salad.
Oh no, it's like, no, this is Bobo. Bobo's nice. Bobo's not like the other monkeys. They're always down in Florida.
I think the best part about this podcast, though, that we're going to be doing is that these ideas are going to get like increasingly stupid as we go on because we're just going to be getting more and more hammered each second of it.
So the drinking on the drinking on the job podcast is, I think it's just us building on tangents. It's a string of tangents.
Yep.
That's actually a great way to structure our pod, is if we just go from tangent to tangent.
Structure?
Like
you wanted structure?
I was gonna say specifically, like I was just down in Florida, and everybody there just looks like an absolute crack addict, or like not even a crack addict. The white people down there have like these like glazed look in their eyes, and like they have like gator skin on them practically. Like it's literally like, you'll see like the beach, like the most bleached blonde hair, like even on the dudes, like they're not like, they're just naturally just in the sun 24/7. And it's like, they got these pasty face and they just like look at you like this, like their smile looks like it's intense and like they're actually mad. They're like, "Hi, how are you doing?"
The thing they don't tell you about Florida is that they actually have worked in an alligator into everyone's ancestry. So everyone has like a gator as like their great granddad somewhere in the list. And it's horrible.
That would actually be sick. All Florida people are reptilian.
Yeah, that's why they do bath salts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never done bath salts.
What drug?
Yeah.
What crazy drug would you most like to try?
Crazy drug that
like not like fun drugs, like heroin, meth, bath salts.
Does peyote count, or is peyote fun?
Peyote, like, I feel like it's fun.
Because like I want to go on an Indian vision quest, and I just want to be in the desert. I feel like everything surrounding peyote isn't fun, but peyote itself is what makes it fun. Because we're gonna strip you naked, put you in the middle of the desert in the middle of the night. You're not sure if you're gonna be hot or cold, but it's gonna be either way too hot or way too cold, and then you're just gonna be tripping.
I heard they have. I want to do peyote in the Amazon, but I also don't want to get bit by a snake. Like I feel like. I feel like that would be tough. That would be an ironic way to die. I feel like, it'd be a really ironic way to die is if like a person with white savior complex like went down to Costa Rica to help some poor people, and then like they attacked them and killed them.
That would be an ironic way to die.
Or like you know how they always like go to Africa and like they'll build like a little like brick hut. It's like if one of the bricks like, but they'll just like do one wall, like one of the bricks just falls down and hits them.
Do you think that like the guys who take the most ironic way to die is the people who do the videos of them just like doing a handstand on top of like the edge of a building?
Oh yeah, those Russian dudes.
It goes back to like another one of those no shit ways to die, because like you're asking for it, like you're literally asking for death there, and it's like, no, but I got the likes.
This is actually a perfect tangent. I have something perfect for this.
Okay,
this
let's hear it.
weekend in New York.
You're jumping off a building. We called it.
Yes.
You did it. Yes.
Finally. It only took one episode.
We did it. We killed intern Watts.
We killed intern Watts finally. No, dude. PBR, the Professional Bull Riding League, is coming to Madison Square Garden, which I can't think of like a less out of place event in New York City than the Professional Bull Riding League.
Yeah.
But I think it's because it's like literally in the middle of January when like nobody else wants to perform at MSG. Because like there's also like Kane Brown coming in 2 weeks. So it's just like January's country month at Madison Square Garden.
They saw the Yellowstone finale and they're just all over it now. They're like, yeah, we know. We get it.
Bro, the tickets are $28. I really want to go, but I think my girlfriend would castrate me if I if I went alone or forced her to come. But
well, force her to come so she could see how a castration is done, because that's how
yeah, I was gonna say
every rodeo is with a live castration.
Do they actually?
No. But they might.
I mean, I feel like at Texas Tech. How close are you to Bulls when you go to school at Texas Tech? For those that don't know, by the way, Grant's background, he used to play football. He's Patrick Mahomes' best friend.
Yeah.
Same with Cliff Kingsbury is too. They're coming on the pod soon. Jackson is too. No. I have a close personal connection with Jackson. I was speaking for myself.
Yes. I'm friends with Patrick. You're friends with Jackson.
I'm friends with Jackson. And so they'll all be on the pod soon. But no, do you guys bull ride at Texas Tech? Is that like a required class?
No, it's not required, but meat judging is. Everyone, first day there, you have to look at 3 different cuts of meat and name them all. And if you get any of them wrong, you're immediately kicked out of the school. Much like the Game of Thrones shame scene with the bells, they walk you out of Lubbock like that. So unfortunately, it's a very long walk since Lubbock is very far away from everything.
We got to come up with the Lubbock version of like that, what that would actually look like. Like it would just be like a bunch of guys on like F-150s or some shit, like their Dodge.
Just dragging you out of town.
Yeah, exactly.
And for some reason, there's a frat boy, and then there's a really super hick dude, and both of them are spitting on you.
There's a sorority chick that comes by. Like, how did you not know that was sirloin, you fucking idiot?
And then they actually brand Raider Rash into you. The words, not actual Raider Rash, but
Raider Rash is an STD, right?
It is.
Oh, that's fine.
Its own strand of chlamydia. So.
Is it actually?
Yep. Lubbock. We're on the map for meat judging and STDs. So, watch out.
I've always wanted to have my own variant in something.
Yeah, and we have our own. There's Omicron and there's Raider Rash. Both variants of very fun things, and you don't want either because they both itch. Have
you guys been seeing the mass graves for all the people with Omicron being dug around your city?
They actually have me doing the digging underneath my building. So they are having me dig into the basements, and
it's sad. It's bodies on top of bodies.
I'm gonna take us down a very dark path very soon. Well, I just went to Colorado. And everyone there, so I was in Texas and drove to Colorado. In between Texas and Colorado is New Mexico. And I didn't wear a mask into a gas station because it was, I was sleeping in a car. And we stopped in New Mexico to get gas. I walk in, the guy, I'm not making this up, comes up to me and is like, "Oh, thanks for wearing a mask, you inconsiderate fuck," and then spits on me, like spits at my feet and walks out, like spits at my feet. And I'm like, "What?" Like, you just like took away the meaning of your mask. Like,
wait, so he pulled up his mask to spit at you.
Well, he pulled it up just to get like the mouth out. Yeah, it's not a down.
Yeah.
It's not a down bad, yeah. It's an up pull. Come on. But then I get to Colorado and everyone there is just like, "Oh, mask? Fuck it. It's too cold up here. COVID doesn't exist." It's great.
That's crazy. I was thinking the other day, like I was on the subway and they still have like instructional videos of like, oh yeah, this is how you put on a mask. And I'm like, bro, if there's anybody here, like everybody knows how to put on a mask. If they're not wearing it properly, then they're doing it on purpose. Like it's not, that's not going to change anything.
I think the greatest part of it, obviously COVID's a very horrible thing. It's done a lot of horrible things, but the greatest part about COVID is like how they have brought, this is going to get very weird real quick, but you'll see where I'm going. They brought COVID into porn. And
yeah.
So there I was the other day watching watching a solid old a video of sorts. And guy, it starts off with the guy's about to walk out of a room and he's in his sister's room, has panties everywhere. He puts on his mask, except it's his sister's thong and not panties.
Oh fuck, classic mistake.
Yeah. She's like, oh, do you not like my mask? And she's like, those are my panties. So now I'm just waiting for the next to see what level of COVID parody porn we get into moving on from here. Like what, like do you think on the main page they're just gonna have like a guy getting his vaccine, just like double vaxxed, like double penetration on a Tuesday?
You walk in and you have to show your proof of a you have to show your proof of like a clean STD test. Like that would actually be that would make the porn industry a lot safer.
It really would, because a lot of people are dying from STDs.
No, that's why they
talk about it.
We need to get Raider Rash. We need to get a Raider Rash vax. And then we have a Raider Rash vaccine card. That's what we need to do. Raider Rash vaccine cards.
So there's this saying back in Lubbock that there's this one bar that it was like dug in. So like you walk in and then it's a couple steps down. It was called Conference. It's closed down now, condemned, and probably going to be burnt for like all the witches' joys. But you like the first hour it's clean. The second hour it gets a little damp on the floor. The third hour it's just soup of like people spilling alcohol everywhere. And if you survive that, you could survive anything. So that is why that's why Lubbock's doing the best out of anyone in COVID. I think that they've only had like a very like the least of anyone.
Well, you guys also have like 4 cows and 3 people.
Hey, the 2 cows and 7 people.
I was gonna try to think. Madison, Wisconsin, Gage and I are both. I mean, in Wisconsin, Wisconsin makes absolutely zero fucking sense. They'll just lock down everybody. But I think the reason why some of the southern states are doing the best is just because everybody's like, well, if we don't get tested, then we're not going to get it.
Oh yeah, I still haven't been tested. It's great.
Yeah.
Have
you ever gotten tested for COVID?
No.
You've never?
No.
Did you have COVID?
I think so. I don't know. I didn't get tested. I mean, I woke up one day, I had a bad cough. I was like, this sucks.
I lost my taste and smell for like 10 days.
Did you really?
In like October. Yeah.
Oh god, I never lost my smell or taste. What is that like? Like, what do you?
Yeah, you would have been looking a lot thinner if you did.
Wow. Wow. For all those who aren't watching the video, this is me flipping off intern Watts right now, and really thinking about how I'm going to murder him later this week.
No, dude, I lost my mic went off for a sec, but I think it's back. I need to get a new microphone. Clearly,
I do too. I have a microphone.
Yeah. No, I lost my taste and smell for like 10 days. The people like my super liberal friends are like, do you still like? I know some people from San Francisco that are still like, do you still have like permanent taste loss? And I was like, bro, this is like from a year and a half ago. I'm like,
you'll never know the taste of a sourdough bread bowl again.
I'll never be able to taste the sweet taste of a Dungeness crab fresh out of the ocean. But no, I lost my taste and smell for like 10 days. And it just kind of sucked because then food kind of sucked. So then I just like eventually got back to tasting it the right way. I tested negative for it. I've never tested positive for it.
But you lost,
which is a weird thing.
Taste and smell.
but I did lose my taste and smell.
Maybe it's the
So
placebo thing. You just thought you had it and you wanted to lose your taste. And so you wanted to be a part of the club.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I wanted to be a part of the club. No, that's actually why I went out though, is because I tested negative. So I went to a lot of bars that week.
There you go.
And I was just like, wow, it smells great in here. And everybody was like, oh, it smells like shit. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, my bad.
Anybody else's beer tasting a little bit flat?
Is there like a baseline taste though? It's like everything tastes like that, and that's just the taste of nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So there
that?
is a taste of nothing. Like, yes, exactly.
That's
There's
such a weird concept.
It's like I don't even know how to explain that. And I can't explain. You know what? I think that's what the people need. They when they want some when they need reason about like some of the matters that are going on with our society, specifically the pandemic, they come to me. Like,
yeah,
you know, when they need somebody to make sense of all this.
Of nothing, dude. I don't know.
No, you know the Dave Chappelle joke where it's like we need John to make sense of all that. For me, whenever there's some worry about the pandemic, I'll make sense of it for everybody. I do think I have another tangent though, because I want to talk about the national championship game.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, that would have been, you know, would have been a really good bit.
What?
As if like I had like another national championship game to talk about.
Yes, if you talked about like, the curling, the women's curling national championships on ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Grant or Gage. I have too many people in my life have names that start with the letter G.
Yeah.
What is going on with that?
Grant Gage. There was a time in the late 1990s where people were like, man, G's are going to take over the world. We did it.
Oh, can I scar you for like just a brief moment? I'm gonna remind you that I was born in 2000.
That fucking sucks. That sucks to hear. Dude, so my mom's a teacher. Okay, my mom's a teacher. She teaches 7th graders. Okay.
Yeah.
I was born in 1996. You can do the math for that if you want people at home. I was born in 1996. I walk in. And my mom was like reading answers off because they're learning commas in 7th grade or whatever, and which you think they'd already know, but they're relearning commas and dates and shit. And someone was like March 13th, 1997, and they're like, when were you born? I was like 1996. When were you born? He was like 2009. No. And I was like,
yeah.
What? I was like, what do you mean 2009? He was like 2009. He was like, I was born 2010. I was like, what the flying fuck? Like, that's not a real age. That's like it's 2009 now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was 2009, like 2 years ago. What the fuck? Dude, you know what the saddest thing? This is one of the saddest things I've heard. I taught tennis camps like in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And like before Old Row, obviously. And
no, we pay you to do that.
Yeah, no, that was actually for Old Row. I was going to teach youth tennis. I was trying to like ingratiate the brand and stuff with amongst the youth, especially youth tennis. That's a market we've been trying to get into.
Especially the San Francisco youth tennis.
Yeah, like San Francisco youth tennis.
Very, very diverse market there.
Anyways, dude, this is how sad it is. I remember it was 2019, the year that the Warriors like completely fell off. And these kids, like, they were so young that like they hadn't even remembered all the championships we had just previously won. Like they just like had completely put that on
the first 5 years before that.
Yeah, like literally like 2 years ago, we were the best team in the NBA. And this is like right before COVID. This is like the summer of 2019. And I'm like, oh, are you guys Warriors fans? And they're like, no, the Warriors suck. And they're like, we're Lakers fans. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You guys are like 2 years old.
Murder on the spot.
I'm literally looking at them just like, I suffered through. I didn't even have to. We've had a great run. Like they were born with championships, and they're immediately like, oh, I don't even care about these guys
because of the championships.
Yeah, they were probably born because of the championships, and they're just literally like, yeah, Warriors aren't very good. I'm gonna go bandwagon the Lakers. I'm like, you guys are such idiots. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
San Francisco and Los Angeles notoriously hate each other, like with a very, very deep passion. And B, it's like the whole point of the Warriors was to dethrone LeBron and show him that he's a piece of shit. And then you go out here, they're like, no, but this LeBron guy, let's hear him out.
I mean, I don't blame them because like they're just, whatever, 5. They were like
dumb.
8. They're dumb. They're so dumb. Kids are so stupid. I'd love to be
dumber, more and more dumb.
But yeah, I just wanted to be like, do you guys know that we like just won a championship?
You're gonna see him win this year. They're like, oh, that Nick Watts guy, he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, I specifically told them, I was like, because a bunch of kids in my class, and like this is like when I was 10 years old, so this is like 2009, 2010, and then it was like it was kind of normal. Most of my friends were like Warriors fans, but it was normal if you straight off to like the Celtics or the Lakers because your dad was a fan, and the Warriors were such ass that no one wanted to be a fan. But like the fact that like we just had this whole dynasty.
Yeah, and it's just like immediately over. It's like, no, if you live in San Francisco, you live in the Bay, you're a Warriors fan, just plain and simple. And then it's like the youth coming up. It's like, no, we'll show them. We hate the Warriors.
To shift nicely into a new tangent, that reminds me of like Stingray Steve, how he went to Alabama. Wait, is that his name? Is who's the guy from the Mississippi State?
Yeah, Stingray Steve.
Stingray Steve. Yeah. He went to Bama. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He went to Alabama and he roots for Mississippi State.
Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Like, what the fuck? That's the most.
Wait, what? Yeah, there it is. Yeah. I just Googled Stingray Steve, and the first thing that came up was like Steve Irwin. And I was like, that doesn't seem like that's like, come on. This seems like a low blow. You know what I'm trying to do, Twitter. You know what I'm trying to do, NSA agent listening in on this.
So, yeah. Hey. No disrespect to Steve Irwin. We love the Irwin family.
Of course. My entire childhood, I thought I could wrestle alligators. And then I woke up one day and realized I would die immediately.
I feel like I could wrestle an alligator. No. I have it in my blood. I have family. I have relatives in Florida, apparently.
That explains why you look the way you do. But that
I look exactly like
on your skin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I look exactly like the person I described.
Exactly. He's really just looking at a mirror.
National championship game, though.
Okay.
I know, like, Georgia's in such a shit spot. Because I think they're gonna lose this game. But where do you go from here? Like,
exactly.
Okay,
like this is the peak for them.
They have to win, but they won't. And then, like, I mean, they could win, but I just don't think
they'll win.
I just don't think they will.
Like, we already saw this game, and it was something where like, oh no, this is the Georgia team. They got it. Look how good they've looked all year. They've got this. Then Bama just walked out their big old Bama dick and just dick slapped them all day long. And then you have the fucking other part of it where it's like, okay, well, now they've seen him and now they did. Okay, Bama also saw him. Like, Nick Saban is the ultimate motherfucker. And all he's going to do is just go down there and dick slap them all over again. And then you're giving them even like the rat poison that he fucking talks about. You say you give Georgia 3 points and give them 3-point favorites in that, like going into
it.
It's like
that was insane. You saw that post?
Yeah. Already I forgot the score of that game. I just know it wasn't close and Bama just dog walked them. And I mean, what's going to be different this time? You know, it's like, oh, well, Bama lost their 5-star receiver, John Mechie. It's like, okay, well, what about their other 5-star receiver? And then there are 5 other 5-star receivers that are on the roster. It's like, I mean, you look at Ohio State, they had a kid not play, and then Marvin Harrison's kid comes out of nowhere and scores 3 touchdowns.
That's the craziest thing about these people saying like, oh man, all these kids dropping out of bowl games is horrible for the sport and stuff. And like, look, for a star quarterback, like obviously like it has a huge impact on the game, but Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, bro, they just have 5 stars just sitting there. Like
they have racks of 5 stars. And even
and
they're
they're
5
yeah.
stars, like even if they're not a 5-star, guess what? They're a highly recruited 4-star that's just as good.
No, it's literally like if it's like, if you're like a fucking like baseball player and it's just like you break a bat, it's like here, brand new one. Or just like it's just like they have an arsenal of weapons on their sideline. It's like, oh no, one of our guys is going to the NFL. Like literally, that's the reason why they're not playing the bowl game is because they're going to the NFL. And then they have these guys that are college ready talents that are they just happen to not be as good as the guys that are going to the NFL.
It makes no sense. Like I had this one guy argue with me. He's like, bro, so for those who don't know, I played football at Texas Tech for a little bit. And there were a lot of guys on the team. We had great players, but we didn't have Bama level players, that top tier level of players up there. So a guy like was talking shit to me. He was like, bro, if you really think that you're that good, I could have gone to Bama and won championships just sitting on the bench and like walking on. It's like, no, well, because like you see Johnny No Name over here, he could probably walk on to fucking Wyoming if he wants to because they don't have jack shit. Bama, you had the best players at every school. You had the best athletes in the United States going there and maybe getting an offer because they have 75 of the best athletes all over. And it just, people forget like how freaking insane that these like college kids, these 18 to 22-year-old kids, and God, like, I mean, how few of them actually get to being 22 years old there before they leave or, fizzle out or whatever. They have all of the most athletic people at that age group in that demographic in our country at one place. It makes
100%.
No
and also too, like you see, at Clemson, was it like Clelin Ferrell? Didn't he get drafted in the first round and wasn't a starter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I think he was like a starter for 1 year maybe, but there are guys that like literally will ride the bench as like second stringers and still get drafted in the early rounds.
Exactly. And making millions of dollars after making millions of dollars in college.
And so for Georgia, like right now, it's similar with a lot of the SEC programs too. Texas A&M's in the same boat. You can get all this talent you want, but at the same time, when you have it's pretty much 5 colleges with the top recruiting classes every year. It's Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and I'd say, A&M's recruiting well, but
just
they're not
whoever that 5th rotating school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. LSU kind of, floats around there too. And those are really the only teams that have a chance at a national title because they can go around the country and they can pick players from any state that they want. Like the idea that California kids like still want to play in California is insane.
It just doesn't exist.
It's the same thing
look
with
at their state income tax. People are just gonna I'm only kind of kidding about that now because of NIL shit. But people actually, college kids that have literally never been to class in their entire lives have to start worrying about taxes and shit like that.
NIL well, I was gonna say even Texas too. Like Texas, Texas A&M had a fine recruiting class, but all those Texas schools should be. Especially Austin should be number 1, and Texas A&M should be right behind there. But like kids don't really want to go play there anymore because Saban and Kirby Smart are scooping them all up.
Exactly.
And now like what that means for those top 4 teams, it might really only be the top 3 really. It all comes down to coaching. So for the next like 5 years with Georgia, they lose this game, which I really think they do. If they win, then their program, it's like the highlight of their win.
It's not only like the biggest point in their program, but it kind of jumpstarts a new race in the SEC where it's like it actually matters because like it's not just Bama anymore. And Bama will still be on top, and Bama will still be that top dog. And even if Georgia wins, Bama will still probably be ranked number 1 going into next season. But now that there's some actual validity to them being that power that they say they've been since 1980 when they won their last championship.
Yeah.
Before any of us were born.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives them some validity now and actually gives them some like horses to run with, because LSU like had not been dominant for a very long time until that year they were. And now everyone's like, oh, LSU's awesome. So, I mean, Georgia can do the same shit.
Well, I think the difference between LSU and Georgia, if Georgia were to win this, which I don't think they will, the only thing that can beat Alabama is the number one quarterback in the country, like legitimately, because you look at like the
Bennett.
No, so if Stetson Bennett in Georgia were able to take down Alabama, then it would prove like, okay, you don't need like one spectacular athlete, because you look at the Cam Newton season is another great example, right? That Auburn team might have been the worst team in the history of college football. Like besides for him. So and Joe Burrow, like obviously he has an insane team around him, but he was a stud. And then let's see, like Tebow had success against Bama. Manziel had success.
And he also had a murderer on his team.
Yes. And Urban Meyer and Riley Cooper.
And Urban Meyer. Just the worst group of people allotted in the same room since the 1940s.
But so my point is like, I really think that's the only way. Those are the only inconsistencies within Bama's program, right? The years in which another team has a generational talent at quarterback, like with a decent team around him. But if we haven't seen a team that has an excellent defense and a star-studded, like even if you have a loaded offense, but if you just have like a mediocre quarterback, Bama's going to eat you alive,
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that actually brings up another good like point though, is that like, does it actually matter? Like, does any of this actually matter if you don't have the quarterback? I think that's kind of what you're saying. It's like none of it actually freaking matters unless you have that guy, and there's so few of those guys that like, like what's the point of even going out there? Like, I mean, honestly, teams should just start tanking for draft picks, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, there are no draft picks. Yeah, that was curious. No, but what I was going to say though is it is SEC delusionalism, because every single SEC fan that isn't a fan of Bama thinks they have a shot at the national title, because even that's Vanderbilt. How it was. Because even Vanderbilt. No, because that's how it was in the 90s, right? Like there wasn't Nick Saban, there wasn't, Joe Burrow, there wasn't Bryce Young, there wasn't Tua, there was like there were still obviously generational talents, but it was definitely more spread out across the country. You didn't have people crossing state lines to recruit as much. People stayed home. And so that's why Tennessee fans still think they have a shot at a title. That's why Florida fans think they have a shot at a title, but they don't. Like year in, year out, unless you have like a generational quarterback talent, your coaching staff is just not going to be equipped to defeat Coach Saban or Kirby Smart. And your recruiting classes, like, sure, you might have awesome recruiting classes compared to the rest of the country, but I mean, if you're playing for national titles like you claim you are, then it's got to be a better recruiting class than Bama, because your coaching staff sure as hell isn't better than Bama's. So it's like that's the problem with a lot of these SEC programs. It's like every year they expect national titles, and that's why you see them doing so poorly in these bowl games, is because they're expecting national championships out of it. But in reality, it's not the same SEC that we knew in the 90s. It's not the same SEC we knew in the 2000s, even when other conferences, could compete with them. At this point, the SEC is really it's Alabama, and then there's Georgia. If they, right now they've been, a strong, consistent like challenger, but they can't get over the hump. And then you probably will have, as I said, like these blips like LSU. And you see what happened to LSU. You see what happened to Texas. Like, I mean, Texas A&M is off to a good start right now with the recruiting and stuff, but they talk a lot of shit for a program that hasn't done a lot,
definitely.
So
definitely.
And like, I even see like Arkansas fans are like, and it's good that Arkansas fans are excited because they had a great season.
Yeah.
But you can't, if you're an SEC fan these days, the old ways of saying like, oh, we are in the SEC, we're a powerhouse. It's just not true anymore, So,
well, I mean, I think and there's a couple things here. One, it's like you still have to have that because you are competing with the best, and there are
you're
teams that
right.
compete with them. Like, I mean, you even look at Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin his first year there, and how great they looked, and how that fan base is all the way bought in. And Tennessee, even like, I mean, they didn't look great this year, but they still had moments, and they've all bought into Weipel or however the hell you say his name. And now Jimbo has the number one recruiting class in A&M. I mean, and Pittman at Arkansas is an absolute like electric factory with how like they love him there. So there's a lot of stuff to be happy about over there. But at the end of the day, it's like the way the SEC works, the way college football works is that there's just like in Nick Saban's having a longer moment than anyone else has ever, but it's just built into like time periods of dominance, and it shifts very often. Like, you remember Florida was like the top of football for a while, and before that, like Tennessee had their moment, USC before them, and Texas in between all that. So I mean, it'll shift, and Ohio State even had them, like, it'll move around and bounce around from school to school, and everyone will have their moment where they are the top of the top. But it just depends how long Saban has, and he won't be around forever. He's old as dog shit too. But I mean, it makes the LSU, making a move for like a guy like Brian Kelly, who I want to talk about this for a second. Brian Kelly fits in less with Baton Rouge, Louisiana, than I think any coach has ever fit. Like, I want you to try to think right now what coach would fit in less with like a community.
I think his name is okay, wait, hold on. I'm thinking now because now
go into it. Dig for a minute.
The BYU coach is Kalani. So I feel like I think it's Otaki or something. I feel like I can't butcher his name. But
you're gonna butcher. It.
I feel like
Kalani Sasaki,
Kalani Sasaki. I feel like he would be a bad fit at other places, but I mean, I don't know. Brian Kelly, you're right. You're right though. I'm thinking out loud. We got to think
if they put like Spurrier up at Notre Dame and he's just trying to walk around with like his tits out, just like nah.
Dude,
baby.
What if they should have Steve Spurrier at Cal? Steve Spurrier at Stanford.
Talking to professors and just Northern California people.
Steve Spurrier was at Duke though.
Okay, that's Duke. Duke's come on.
There is a crazy story. Oh fuck. There's a story like Steve Spurrier's like former graduate assistant said that Steve used to like have him bring over like just like 6 packs of beer like during practice on the daily. But I can't I don't want to speak on Steve Spurrier's name like this without any facts. So
later date. We'll save it for a later date.
I'm looking up Steve Spurrier Duke story. 3 days. Okay, wait, you just fill the void.
Fill the void. Okay. So
fill the void.
Imagine like Spurrier at Stanford going around talking to people who are like, yeah, well, actually, my finance class went very good. He was like, well, how about them fucking Cardinals? Try explaining to Steve Spurrier that his mascot is a color. I think that would be the funnest part about this. Like, yeah, with the Cardinals, like the birds, like no. The color cardinal.
Well, that's like when Herm Edwards went down to Arizona State, and somebody was like, "Hey, how about the Sun Devils?" He's like, "Whoa, no, we don't believe in we don't believe in the devil. We don't let that." I legitimately I think what it was is the report. I know that's exactly what like his reaction to it. Yeah. But I think the reporter was like, "Hi, I'm Tom from like Sun Devils news reporter," and he's like, "Whoa, now that's an evil sounding name."
Hang on, Tom, you devil. Like he has no knowledge of the Sun Devils, but the worst part is that dude's name was Tom. Someone named Tom wronged Herm Edwards in the past.
Yeah, no, Brian Kelly down at LSU. I hate Brian Kelly with like a Bernie. I hate Notre Dame. I hate Notre Dame less without Brian Kelly. I still will hate them equally as much. And now I have to hate LSU because he killed somebody. He murdered a kid.
Well, in his
Allegedly.
defense, how many people have murdered someone?
There have
I
been a
mean,
lot.
there's
Jim
been a
Boeheim.
lot. People forget.
People
Tony
forget.
Stewart.
People forget.
Yep, people forget.
um, I fear though that Brian Kelly will be good at LSU.
Oh, he'll be great, but everyone will
Yeah.
hate him the entire time. It'll
Yeah.
be fantastic.
Like how are the fan base gonna react? Like they're not gonna take it well if he has a bad
Once
season.
he wins, they won't care. But I mean, he's not going to win it first. Everyone's going to be like, "What the fuck is this guy even doing?" He has a fake Louisiana accent. He doesn't know what he thinks a crawfish has gills, and he's coming out here thinking that he could just butcher our way of language.
I was gonna say about Brian Kelly. Fuck, what was I gonna say? I'm just an absolute brain fart today.
My dad is beyond like just angry with him because he's like, Notre Dame's a great program.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It's probably because I think he went down to LSU because there are less restrictions on scholarships.
And there's a lot of times you could bring kids into a camp where, a lot less might happen.
What? You say a lot less might happen during a camp?
Yeah, I mean, you want to bring in kids for these camps. They're a little underage. They're still minors.
I knew that's where you're going.
There we go. We're going. You started to pick up on it.
Well, I actually
you actually been diddled in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, I've actually been, I actually have been. Actually, I did go to a Catholic school for
actually, good point.
For like 14 years of my life. And there is a picture of me with the former priest at my church who, like, it's like at my reconciliation or something. And it came out that he diddled kids later. I didn't get diddled, but
he's a great guy.
There is a picture of me with him.
He knew how to make a hell of a charcuterie board.
Now I've definitely lost my train of thought. But no, he definitely likes LSU because there are less restrictions on scholarships. I was gonna say, speaking of the diddling kids at Notre Dame, our boss Swig, he turned down. He didn't get one of the captions I was gonna go for, but there was. It was when Notre Dame lost. It was the Sugar Bowl, right? They played. It was or was it the Fiesta?
It was the Fiesta Bowl.
Fiesta Bowl. Oklahoma. I was unsure. I thought it was Sugar. Sugar Bowl was Baylor, Ole Miss. That was dumb of me. But they had a picture of Notre Dame like fan depressed at the Fiesta Bowl, and I wanted to caption it like when it was something when. I took a screenshot of it. It was like when they call you in after, or when the priest calls you in after the game or something. Oh, fuck. Wait, hold on.
I would just like to put a little PS down here, a little reminder that our boss Swig has not been diddled or diddled anyone.
Oh, I saw this is it. When Mayor Pete says he needs to see you in his office.
Oh God. He's just dude, I think
I really just tied in.
Might be my favorite part of every sport.
What?
Like just the depressed fan, the surrender.
Oh yeah.
All the things.
I thought it was really clever adding when Mayor Pete calls you into his office after.
Yeah.
Because I thought I tied in the Catholic sex or Catholic Church pedophilia ring as well as Pete Goodieg.
Yeah, it's called synergy, and that's something we look for. Yeah, that's
meme synergy. You want to work at Old Row?
Hi, my name is Grant Caravelli, current social media and ambassador to all social media projects we have here at Old Row. And if you have synergy, we want you.
If you can combine politicians with church pedophilia, hit my line.
Not for the reason you think. Bro, I was watching the Fiesta Bowl, as many people did, and I saw something that was shocking to me. and I know this because like many people, I played the 2014 NCAA football video game, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it in person maybe in so long that it caught me so off guard, and I was so surprised by it. Their mascot is just a guy in a green suit.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's just a guy, just an
He's a leprechaun.
Irish-looking guy. He looks nothing like a leprechaun. He looks like Chad from like Sigma Chi, just out here. Like, yeah, Notre Dame. And like he doesn't even have a voice, doesn't change it, not very angry looking. He's just a guy. And it made me think like, in the video game, why wouldn't they have like literally all of the mascots just beat the shit out of this guy? Because it's not like he can do anything. He's just a guy. You just set it out 7-on-7.
Oh, you're saying in like the mascot games and like
yeah. This guy's going.
You're saying double up on the leprechaun. Or no, I guess you could just leave him out in zone.
Imagine like NFL Street, but with the mascots. Like how far it would have gone with like just beating the shit out of each other. Do you remember how great NFL Street was? Were you around for that?
I haven't played it. Dude, I told my parents when I was a kid, this is the most psychotic shit I ever did. But like I read in like I was a really nerdy kid. Not like really nerdy. But I don't know how to describe myself as a kid, but one time I like read an article that was like, oh yeah, drinking soda and watching TV is really bad for kids. And I told my parents, I was like, hey, mom and dad, I want to like not drink soda for a year and like stay off of TV. And they were like, sure, we'll cancel the cable.
Wow. Let me tell you,
like, bro,
Nick Watts, I would not have gotten along with you as a kid.
just like when I was like 7 years old or some shit, or like it was one of those things where like we had like a really small like cable package, and I was like, yeah, fuck this shit. I'm done with TV. I only watched sports, and then I just like I didn't play video games really. And
Will fell from the other guys, and then I audited my parents.
Then I audited my parents. Bro, like, I just remember like going a year without drinking soda just because I said it. Like I was just like, yeah, I don't think I want to drink soda for a year. My parents were like, all right, no soda.
Yeah. I went the first 15 years of my life without sex just because, someone said, hey, maybe you shouldn't have sex. And I was like, yeah, cool, got it.
Bro, during 6th grade, I was afraid of getting kidnapped and raped for like an entire year because I read the People magazine article about the chick that got like stolen in the Bahamas. So,
I don't want to laugh at this. But I was being scared of that for 1 year. I think is the more shocking part about
bro. I was afraid to like walk outside alone. So like I would always like if my parents would like pick me up, I would have them like I would need them to like come straight to like the front door of like if they were picking me up from school, like they had to go right in front of the school. Like I was afraid to walk a block to like their car because I was like I could get abducted. And then what happened was, as you said, you were like it only happened for a year. I realized like, oh, like I'm actually like I'm a pretty ugly like 13-year-old kid. Like I don't really think anybody's gonna want to steal me. Yeah, like I don't think I'm a target. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can walk alone now. But yeah,
I mean, for 1 year of your life, you're like, hey, will you hold my hand while I cross the street so I don't get kidnapped and raped?
Like straight up,
and then it's like the next year, you're like, hey, I don't need you to hold my hand when I cross the street. I'm not afraid of getting kidnapped and raped anymore. I'm ugly as shit.
So so the transition too was the fact that I was good about it. I never told my parents I was just like, yeah, I just prefer if you guys would come closer like the buildings. So they didn't really know that like I like couldn't really go anywhere without like another person.
Let me tell you what happened. What happened was he kept on trying to get kidnapped and raped, but no one would ever kidnap and rape him. And then he found out it's not because he just looked up.
It's a sad story, really.
A kidnapper came up and was like, hang on. Why are you trying to get in my van? I don't want to be in there. You're too ugly. And then he turned 14 and was like, oh, yes, I'm good.
I'm way too ugly to get kidnapped.
Candy Shop Carl said he didn't want me.
To get back to the original topic, though, I'm pissed that Wisconsin doesn't have a live badger mascot on campus. Like, is that too much to ask for? We have a live badger in the zoo. We have a few live badgers in the zoo, but there's like, why don't we just have like a big like Mike the Tiger exhibit, how they have in LSU, but we should have that for badgers all in front of the stadium. And we should unleash the badgers on some people, because badgers are the type of animals where it's like, yeah, they could kill you, but probably not. So it's like,
what do you mean probably not? They were so many. Badgers are the meanest animals I've ever seen. So my buddy has a ranch out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, in the middle of Aspermont, Texas, if you want to look up where that is. Okay. And we go out there, and he has his dad's friend was out there one time. He came back and he had a dead badger and just walked up and threw it down. And his legs were all cut to shit out of nowhere. I was like, what happened? He was like, well, I was in the deer blind, and I guess a badger got in there.
Oh,
I had to kick it out, and then it ran, and then it tried to chase me. So he pulled out his AR and just took that thing all the way down. He was like, I've never wanted to kill. He said, I've never wanted to kill anything more in my entire life. Oh my God. Badgers are horrible. So now if I see a badger on the side of the road while I'm driving, I go out of my way to run it over just to do it.
Whoa. That is fucked up. Badgers are a lot uglier than I thought they would be. Like, you look at Bucky
hideous.
I looked at Bucky Badger and I thought like every badger would have these cute fluffy faces. Nope. And then I realized they're just like mole rats.
It looks like a skunk that's already been ran over. Like, it looks like roadkill that's moving around.
Gage agrees with that.
Gage is nodding his head.
You can't see Gage, but Gage is our producer.
Mouthing the words, fuck the Badgers. Yes. Okay, Gage. All right.
Dude, we actually have great synergy in terms of the teams that we root for, by the way.
Okay. Tell me how.
Well, we're both Niners fans.
Oh, okay. We're talking
about,
I thought you were saying that like Cowboys, Red Raiders and Badgers get along. And I was like, no, they don't.
Well, I would say, oh, yeah. Well, I'd say Texas Tech and Wisconsin, the Wisconsin fan base. I'd say both fan bases get along well together because we're both in very similar situations.
Very much.
I think Wisconsin. Obviously, I think Wisconsin has a stronger football program, just objectively. And then
you guys had Patrick Mahomes go to your school. Of course you do.
Yeah. Well, dude.
Wait.
Oh, wait. Let's remember. Okay. Well, okay. Right after we were about to say, like, oh, yeah, Texas Tech fans and Wisconsin fans get along.
People forget that we are just the biggest assholes in the entire world.
But no, I was going to say, Gage and I are both Wisconsin fans, and then we're both Niners, and then you're a Giants fan, and then not really Warriors fan. But it's good synergy.
I live in Texas, but my dad was born and raised in the San Francisco area and had season tickets to all the Niners games growing up. My first football game, I was like 4 years old. He took me out to Candlestick, and it was incredible. And from what he told me, I was too young to remember, but he just raised me a Niners fan. My second game was at the old Cowboy Stadium when T.O. moonwalked across the stars.
Oh, that's sick.
And being able to have those both as my memory here. Actually, a girl that I may or may not be dating that we're not going to talk about got me this for Christmas.
A mug.
Big old vintage 49ers mug. So
was that the only thing she got you?
No, she also got me several other things. So we're not going to.
No, it's just the mug.
She got me. Just the mug.
Yeah. Grant's a big simp. He got her $1,000 worth of gifts, and then she got her the mug.
She got me.
He got her the mug.
But she was like, "Look, I got you a soup bowl." I was like, "A mug?" She was like, "No, it's for soup. It's a soup bowl."
Specifically not for coffee.
Yeah, it was like,
only soup.
This bowl for anything else that's not soup, I'll know.
It self-destructs.
It shatters, and then you get arrested by the police.
I think this is a good place to end it on. We had fun, guys. Thank you guys for listening to episode 1. It's been a pleasure. I'm your host at Intern Watts. Feel free to give me a follow. I'm here with at Grant Caravelli.
What's up?
Say goodbye, Grant.
Bye.
And thank you guys for watching
and bye.
or listening. I hope you guys were watching. Go subscribe to our YouTube and give us a like and subscribe to our page. We'd really appreciate it.
Like, follow, subscribe, everything.
Every view counts, every like counts, and every subscription counts. Thank you guys so much.